Hello. Palantir just announced first quarter earnings will be held on the 9th of May. This is going to be, in my opinion, a huge event that will likely shape how the company and the stock moves forward in 2022. The stock has recovered from its sub $10 low back in February, but it's still subject to the wider market sentiment. We have seen the market, and in particular the tech sector, get absolutely crushed. So it's no surprise that Palantir has also retracted slightly. However, there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and there are some pieces of news that are aligning and pointing to something forthcoming. Stay tuned for a quick drill and more. Keep it simple. Well. Things have seemed to quieten down at Palantir, but we are now in the run-up to Q1 earnings, which essentially will be huge and will be the indicator as to what's in store for the entire 2022. As we talked about previously, with the world in chaos, Palantir thrives. And right here we see the RBC has upgraded Palantir to sector perform from underperform and boosted the price target to $12 from $9. Why? Because they note that federal spending around the world is likely to increase as a result of the war. Well, duh. Did they not get the memo from Germany, for example? But wait, target price to $12. Well, Palantir right now, as I'm recording this, is trading at $12.80. So does this upgrade actually make any sense? What do you think about RBC's rating right here? Clearly for me, this is a low ball, play it safe upgrade. And it's not only RBC recently getting in on the act. On the 11th of April, Monis Crespian Hart initiated coverage with a buy rating and a price target at $20. That is pretty huge. On the 9th of March, Piper Sandler initiated coverage at overweight with a price target of $15, which we may well shoot right past come May the 9th. And finally, on the 7th of March, Morgan Stanley upgraded the Palantir to equal weight with a price target reduced from $24 to $16, which still represents a 25% upside on current stock price. It's also quite fitting when you start seeing articles that are popping up here, there and everywhere that are clearly trying to set up a narrative for things to come. So, with the stock price slowly climbing back up, what are the big boys at the big institutions quietly doing? Yes, accumulating more and more Palantir shares. When we look at the list of institutional investors of Palantir, yes, we see that Vanguard is top dog, and in their 13F filing lodged in February, they increased their position by close to 7%. Even BlackRock in second position did so by 2.6%. State Street by 4.3%. But check this, most recently in April, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, SKYNET International Group increased their holdings by 41%. Even Morgan Stanley increased their position by 30%. Bank of Montreal Canada clearly went big by increasing a whopping 600%, 6x. And Fidelity Index Fund increased by 232%. Guys, these are huge, gargantuan numbers that the institutional investors are throwing into Palantir and Palantir stock. If they do not see strong incoming growth in the company, then why would they all be synchronizing their buying up of the stock? And where the hell are they all getting these shares from? Even one of the most successful funds of all time in terms of return has added 13% more to their position in the form of Renaissance Tech. Now, some things are seemingly aligning for a huge leg up, and we can see this in the fails to deliver. As noted on Fintel, on the 15th of March, we had a disgusting, filthy 3.9 million shares failed to deliver. Oh me, oh my. Is that even legal? You tell me. Well, what about the dark pools? Well, they're still big, and they're at it big time. And in the last 3 days alone, this has gone over 40%. Now, if you don't like these dark pools, then why not check out interactive brokers who, for one, do not engage in payment for order flow and will not route your orders into these dark pools. Go check them out in the link right below. Finally, there was a recent interview with Shyam Sankar, COO, about Palantir's recent edge AI software being deployed into space. This has seemingly gone under the radar, and for me, this is clearly phase one of what I believe will be the future SKYNET of the world. If you see what I see, then do you get the shivers that I get after hearing what he says?
So, we are so excited to have our edge AI technology in the satellite bus of a Satellogic NewSat satellite. And what this allows us to do is quickly move AI models right next to the satellite's camera itself. So you think about the pictures we're taking, the video that you can get from space, these are massive files, and it takes so long to bring that data down to Earth. And it really introduces tremendous latency in terms of how long it takes you to leverage insights that are happening in the real world, given that downlink delay. By moving the AI inferencing to space, you can do that in seconds, and you can get the information down to Earth in less than a minute. And that is a fundamental game changer. When we move, so commercial space has exploded over the last decade now. We are drowning in collection. But if you think about it from, say, for example, a military commander's perspective, they're not interested in saying, when can I get the next picture over this region, perhaps a region in the Ukraine or Russia. They want to know how many tanks are there, how many transport erector launchers are there. They have mission questions, and how often can I revisit that? I need that information every hour. And with this capability, you can now reduce all of that latency to provide real-time insights that provide real deterrence, as we've seen in the conflict in Ukraine, and real insight into what's happening in the world. We have really mobilized our entire company against the invasion in Ukraine and the consequences of that. I think in many ways, we believe this situation was foreseeable. And at the time of our listing, we talked quite publicly about how we would not work with the Russian government and actually with Russian companies, given the overall context there. But now our software is being used to power refugee operations from Romania, Poland, Lithuania, across all of Europe. I've talked before about how supply chain is really a software problem. And our software here is helping, just like we do with the World Food Program, it's helping match all of the goods that are coming in, the beds that are available, everything that's coming from the hands of the donors to the hands of the refugees and those who need it, and doing that as efficiently and effectively as possible, given the incredible scale, millions and millions of refugees that need help in this moment. Similarly, we are helping commercial companies with their supply chains. There are a lot of automotive parts that are made in Ukraine. We've helped BMW ensure the continuity of their Munich facilities and production plans by dynamically changing their production plans to respond to the changing supply chain shocks that are occurring. And of course, most obviously, we have been deeply involved in helping with the military response, not just in the US, but across European nations who are on a fundamentally different footing from a defense and security posture since the invasion. We're helping them gain insight into what's happening on the ground. A lot of that is coming from space. A lot of that's coming from reports that are happening through different fused information sources. There's a lot that's happening on social media right now that gives you fundamental insight and helping drive coordination around the logistics. And a lot of that plays into refugee operations. How many folks are we expecting? How do we plan for the capacity of the folks that we need to provide housing for, bedding for? There are an enormous number of orphans, I'm sad to say, that we're helping provide housing and shelter for as they come across the border. Yeah, I wish I could say it was easing. I think it's actually getting worse right now. When I look at what's happening with inflation, we had inflationary pressure from COVID, we had inflationary pressure from Ukraine, but now we have inflationary pressure as it relates to energy, as it relates to food. And what we're seeing is that companies that have a granular transaction level enterprise profitability data asset are the ones that are going to thrive here. They have a better ability to do revenue management. They have a better ability to find substitutes in their supply chain and be more competitive and offer the lowest price to their customers going forward. And those that don't are really struggling to understand what this means, not only for their own profitability, but how they should be reacting and pricing in the market. So I think the greater challenges lie ahead of us here for the commercial world.
Thanks for watching. And please note, at sub $15, give me a break. Palantir is a stock that, in the words of Warren Buffett, is a company that I understand and see growing big in the future. So I myself have and will continue to accumulate shares because this is an opportunity I see too great not to go big on. So please take this drill with precaution and always do your own DD. If you found this video informative, then do me a simple favor and just consider subscribing to the channel so you get a pop-up when a new video is uploaded. I am a simple trader. I try to keep this simple and will simply see you in the next video.